can we do, to encourage our culture? A culture enthusiast, Prince Olani Oyatoye, is giving some advice to the present-day administration that telling him to consider, splitting the Ministry of Information and Culture in order to maximize the potentials in the tourism industry for the country. Well, let us see and hear what he has to tell us about our cultural heritage, and how the nation can make more money with our culture.
Heritage is not something that we just put aside as a decoration. It's something that we can use to empower the youth and to generate revenue. In 2021, when we had a Day in Lagos State with Lagos State government, the topic was how to use our cultural heritage to revive our economy. So before we come out from such a topic, it means that we have a lot of things to do in terms of cultural heritage, and youth are the leader of tomorrow, and the leader of tomorrow are there right now, which is youth. So now is the right time to talk about this wonderful topic by empowering the youth with our cultural heritage, and also to revive our cultural heritage, because those are the things that we inherited from our forefather. I always tell people I may not have anything in terms of physical property from my parents, but the language is what I have with me, and it goes with me anywhere I am in the world, and I appreciate that. So there's a lot of way we can empower the youth. There's a lot of way we can revive our cultural heritage. There must be a cultural heritage institution, and which we have already done a lot of proposals with federal government and state governments that are yet to be approved, and we believe something can get done in aspect of that. To be honest, we are not where we're supposed to be, because there are many other countries that they look upon us in the past in terms of cultural heritage and tourism center, but today they are ahead of us because they do the needful. So governments have to do more in terms of reviving the tourist center so that it can be more attractive to the people of other nations to come and visit.
Let's talk about the Ministry of Information and Culture. I think it's the right thing to combine the both.
Just as part of my advice to the new president of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I make the advice clear that Ministry of Information and Culture have to be separate. That is the actual fact. And I will tell you the reason why. Culture itself is an institution on its own that needs to be able to generate funds to the nation, not only for that institution, but to the nation. But when a single minister is monitoring the information and culture at the same time, it's going to be difficult for someone that carries two things at the same time. But for someone that have a one thing in his hand, he will have the other hand available to wave. So it means that it's so light on his hand, and he will have time to be able to do more in terms of what he's projecting. So it's very important for government to look into this advice to separate information and culture, so that culture can be able to stand on its own and bring a better income to the government, and also be able to work as an institution whereby it could be able to make other research. There is a lot of cultural heritage that's not where to be found, not only in Yoruba land, other tribes. There is a lot of things. Even when I was making research before we established our cultural museum in Canada, I realized that a lot of things that is not even yet discovered in our cultural history. So all those things are things that are going to help the cultural institution, and also that is going to boost the activities of tourism in Nigeria. So I believe they are going to look into this and let it have good results at the end of the day. To be honest,
what are you doing as an cultural ambassador? What are you doing to improve?
To be honest with you, when we started this project in 2018, when we say, okay, let us showcase our Shade in Canada, to some other people, we look like, what are we going to do? Well, is this going to happen? Is it even necessary? But to the glory of God today, the governor of Manitoba himself, which is our premier, and there are just 13 of them in Canada, she's aware of Ashade, and since last year she has been doing Ashade, awareness of video awareness on Ashade. She did this year also, where she mentioned of Yoruba, where she mentioned of the way she even mentioned Yoruba this year is different from the way she mentioned it last year. So that's to let you know that the culture himself has been getting place in the heart of people. Last year, Nigerian ambassador to Canada was at Ashade, that he represented the Nigerian government in persons of Ambassador Adeyinka Ashekun and some other members from Nigeria Commission in Canada. And as a result of this success, they are already opened the hand of partnership for this year at Ashade. Likewise in UK, Nigerian embassy in UK, they have already opened the hand of partnership for Ashade in United Kingdom. So all this is telling us that our culture is well acceptable globally. And that is why when we want to register our organization with Canadian government, we call it Ashade Worldwide. That's it to say, we want to go global. We don't want to stay only in Canada or only in Nigeria. No, we want to go every part of the world. Anywhere we can find Nigeria, let us go there. Let us go back to our culture. The kind of stubbornness the youth are having today should not be there if our culture is well preserved and is properly taken care of.
Do you think the language is going to extinction as a Yoruba language? Especially those raised across.
We must be honest with ourselves. The language is going to extinction, and the reason is because the moment they tell us don't speak vernacular, that is where we got it wrong. I asked myself, what is the meaning of that word? Something that is not acceptable. So are you telling me that my father language is not acceptable? So things like that, we need to go back, because the damage this is going to have on our language is going to be more. And that is one of the reasons why I stopped speaking English in public. I always tell people my first language is Yoruba. My children, they speak Yoruba fluently, and I always make them to understand that is the first language, which they know. Even though they were born in Canada, they haven't been to Nigeria, but they know that is their language. So I expect every family to adopt this, because if you can be who you are today with the help of your parents, with the kind of orientation they give you, forget about the accent. It doesn't give you anybody salary. When you are where you're supposed to be, either you know how to speak English or not, people will still associate with you. I always tell people, I don't know how to speak English, but it's going to be shame on me if I don't know how to speak Yoruba, because that is only what I inherited from my father. But nobody give me English as an heritage. So why am I so much more concerned about how to speak English? I've been to China. You will force yourself to speak Chinese, even when you are trying to patronize them with your own money. So I was forced myself to be able to speak some Chinese when I was there, and I have to go with a friend of mine that speaks Chinese fluently. So all these things is to let you know that whatever it is belong to you, if you appreciate it and preserve it very well, other race will accept it with you and they will appreciate it. During our Ashade, I like to read my speech in Yoruba, and our cultural ambassador is a white lady. She will read the English part of it for me. So like that, we are trying to generate another opportunity for other people to do other things. Because when I choose to speak my language, people that work as a translator, they were able to get job. They were able to get work to translate. When you go to Chinese today and you cannot speak their language, you have to look for a translator, which we are going to pay to do that job for you. So if you appreciate your language, people that can speak your language and the other language, they will now be the channel between you and the other one that could not speak your language. And that is going to be another opportunity for other people to make some money into their pocket.
Do you think the government has a role to play in reviving
Yes.
Yoruba language?
Government have role to play in reviving the Yoruba language. Not only Yoruba language, every indigenous language in Nigeria. And I will tell you the reason why. Let's start from when we are very small, when we are still in school, back in the days. Let me to use myself as an example. In Yoruba land, I school in Yoruba land, we always have a subject called Yoruba class. And it's a compulsory subject. Later, people see it as not compulsory subject, which is one of my best subjects. So we have to go back to history, and we have to go back to indigenous language in every school, either a private school or government school. It's very important, and that is the only way we can revive this dying language. If not, we will just be hearing it that there was a language, but you would not know how to go about it. Go ahead. The best thing is to encourage the people of passion, and put the right people in those tourism center. Because when some certain money has been allocated to some certain tourism center, the money must go in the right channel so that the result can be exactly what we are expecting and what we encourage our visitor when they come. I must be honest with you, it is all, some people will feel like when they go to a tourist center, they only pay 50 naira, they pay 500 naira to enter the place. But don't forget, if you have 5 tourist centers in a city, so the tourists will go to that 5 tourism center in a day, they will stay in a hotel, they will go to our restaurants. All these things is an additional income. They will even travel by vehicle or they take Uber. So all these things will be, they are bringing their own money to spend when they get here. So there is a lot of things that's going to be touching if we are able to do the right thing in our tourist center. I just pray the government will look into this side and be able to do the needful.